Man, Danny's got a pull on the heartstrings, of course. Nah, man, it's gonna make me emotional. I really like the best word I can say is like gratitude. Like I'm just so grateful to be here. I'm so grateful for the last 5 years, and I'm really excited about this speech today because I've spoken on Apex stage before. I mean, a lot of you guys have seen me speak before, and it's always sales. It's always sales, sales, sales. Hey, here's how I make sales. Here's how I generate leads. Here's all these different things, because that was really all I knew up until really last 6 months was sales. So I don't think people should speak on something that they really don't know about. So it's always sales, sales, sales. But today I'm gonna be speaking on something different, so I'm super excited. Before we do though, I have a favor to ask everybody. I have somebody that's very special to me. She's sitting right there. Her name's Allison Middleton, and soon to be Sasser, and it's her birthday today. So I just wanted to shout her out real quick. Happy birthday, baby. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Allison. Happy birthday to you. If you know, you know. I appreciate it, guys. All right. So let's hop into this. So young closer from sales to entrepreneur. That's what I'm going to be speaking about today. Like I said, up until this point, it's always been sales. And it's always been sales oriented because I believe sales, the reason I went to college was I went for marketing because I understood that if I wanted to be an engineer, long story short, and then my dad kept selling me business, entrepreneurship, stuff like that. So I was like, okay, maybe he's onto something. You have that freedom, you still make good money, all that sort of stuff. So, and I was like, okay, let me go to school for marketing because if I know how to get customers, then I can start any business that I really want. And I still believe that to be true. If you know how to get customers, you can find somebody to actually operate the business. You don't have to know plumbing. You don't have to know HVAC. You don't have to know roofing. You don't have to know any of this stuff if you know how to get customers. So young closer from sales to entrepreneur. So about the young closer from intern to top producer, I thought there would be more people in here that I don't know. I think I know every single one of you guys. So I was going to tell my story about intern to top producer. Basically, over the last 5 years, I've been mentoring under Stuman. A lot of you guys know that story, so I don't really need to touch on that. But something that I haven't been as transparent about is actually my last 6 months. It's not that I was hiding it or anything like that. It's just something that I didn't really broadcast out there. But I haven't been full-time with Apex for about 6 months, since March 5th was the date, actually. Basically, Stuman, a little backstory. Back in 2021, we went to Cabo. And Cabo's coming up, right? When is that? October? Highly recommend that trip. Phenomenal trip. Forever grateful for that trip. But there was a speaker there, and he was speaking to another gentleman there, and the gentleman was like, "Man, how do I get to that next level?" And this speaker was like, kind of caught me off guard. He's like, "What the fuck does that mean?" He's like, "You're a multimillionaire. You're running a huge business. You're in Cabo. You flew here on a private jet. Like, what the fuck does that mean? Like, what do you want?" And at first, I was like, "Man, that dude's kind of brash. Like that was kind of weird." But then I started thinking, and I was like, man, that guy's pretty smart. I thought he was smart. Come to find out, man, dude's a bozo now. But I thought he was really smart in the moment. And I was like, okay, so I sat out there on a patio while everybody else was networking inside, drinking, all that stuff. I sat on a patio. I actually took a video that night. I still have it. And I was just talking through some things. This was 4 months into being top producer, so I was just starting to get some success, starting to get some momentum. And I was like, man, what do I want? I started thinking, I was like, man, I'm surrounded by Apex. I'm mentoring under Stuman. I'm learning from all these people, Kurt Lennington, Neil Kaiser, all these people. And I'm learning all these things. And then I come back home, and my brother has a roofing company, the same industry that all these people that I'm learning from. And he wanted to grow. At the time, it was him and one other sales rep. And he was wanting to grow. He wanted to scale. That was like the buzzword. I want to scale. I want to scale. I want to scale. We didn't know anything about scaling at that point. We didn't even know what like the first step to scaling a business was. So I was like, man, let me take all this stuff that I'm learning at Apex and let me take it back to my brother and let me help my brother grow this business. So that's whenever it was like first step. It was September 2021. Within 4 months, we hired our first sales rep. He's still our top sales producer to the date. He should be a $2 million producer this year. In roofing, $1 million, kind of like you're a good sales producer if you do $1 million in sales. He's got one job that's going to be $1 million. So he's going to be a $2 million producer still with us today. And that was kind of like, it just proved that we could do it. I'm a big believer in like I didn't know how to do anything. I was like, I don't know how I'm going to hire somebody, how I'm going to train somebody. I'm barely learning this stuff myself. Like I'm just starting in sales. But I'm a big believer, if you do it one time, you can do it again. And if you do it again, you can do it again and again and again, and just take baby steps. So that's literally, I started doing 75 hard. I was on walks. Allie remembers this. We were over living in the colony behind Top Golf at that apartment over there. We would go walk that little, I think it's called the Colony 5-Star, the soccer complex over there. And I'll just be thinking like, what's that first step? What's that first step? I got to find someone. I don't know where I'm going to find someone. But we found that person, and one person led to another. And to date, we have about 20 sales reps working with us now. We are slightly behind pace to hit 8 figures this year. So once Andrew closes that $1 million job, we'll be on pace, and we just got a hailstorm up in Sanger, so I really think we can hit 10 million this year. So it's really cool, from intern to top producer to business owner, co-owner of a $10 million roofing company, soon to be. I don't want to claim it yet, but that's what I'm going to be talking about. Basically today, I'm going to be talking about the top lessons that I've learned over the last little over 5 years with Stuman. Like the lessons that I think is just like, man, if I had to sum it down to like, I think it's 5 or 6 points, like those are it. Like through my lens, that's what I think somebody needs to know in order to get to the same point that I've gotten to. And I will be having a Q&A at the end. Usually people tell you that at the end, and people are like, I don't have a question. So if you have a question, write it down. I'm happy to answer any questions. All right, my intention of today. I'm a very intentional person, so I wanted to share this. My intention of today is to show a path from sales producer to business owner, either for you, if you're in that position. A lot of you guys are business owners already, so if that's not you, then to refresh you on some of the top lessons I feel Apex has taught me, or to help you with your sales producers as well. I think that's something that Stuman's done a phenomenal job at, is crafting me and building me into where I am. Like I said, can't give that dude enough praises. Grateful for forever. Changed my life. My brother's a part of Apex. My dad is. I mean, it's had an impact on Allie. It's had an impact on our employees. Our employees have kids. So just an incredible butterfly effect. So if you guys can do that and have that same impact on your team as well, I'd love that. Disclosure. This is entrepreneurship through my eyes. So guys, I don't claim to know everything, quite the opposite. I'm telling you, I'm just getting started in this stuff. Like I'm still learning this stuff, but this is just some of the things that I feel is extremely important as I've been learning over the last few years. So from mentoring under Stuman, our entourage, entrepreneurs and executives, arguably just as valuable as learning from Stuman, being around you guys, to be honest, conversations over coffee, all that sort of stuff over the last 5 years. Spending weekends, late nights, early mornings, literally just submerged around greatness. That's what I love about Apex, is you're literally just, you're around greatness constantly, business, families, fitness, everything. This is how I view business and what I believe will have the biggest impact on me these next 5 years. Once again, I don't claim to know everything. I'm just getting started. All right, so lesson number 1, sales makes the money. I think this is something that has had a profound effect on me, not only with my success with Apex, but then also as I've gone into my new career with Lone Star Exterior as well, is I'm focused on sales. I have the mindset that if you get sales, you can get everything else. So too many people, I believe, are focused on details that don't matter. I talk to a lot of business owners, and they're not focused on income producing activities. I'll speak on that soon. They're just focused on stuff that really, truly does not matter at the end of the day. So Apex isn't personal development, and we aren't a roofing company. At the end of the day, we're sales organizations. We just happen to do something. We happen to specialize in something. So Apex is a sales organization that happens to, once we make the sale, they're really good at personally developing people and changing their business, changing their lives. Extremely good at it. And I once again, don't mix that up. The service is very important, because if you do not get the service down, we could sell Apex all we want, and we're just gonna have bad experience, no referrals, nothing's gonna go. So don't get that mixed up. You gotta have a good product or service. It's gotta be a 10 out of 10 too, but it's a sales organization first, because without sales, you don't have a business. Without operations or fulfillment, you get some bad reviews, but you still have a business. You still got money rolling in. We are not a roofing company. We're a sales organization. We just happen to specialize in roofing. Truthfully, I know a lot about roofing. I really do, but I'm not the expert. You know, my roofing crew lead, he knows way more than me. At the end of the day, we get sales. That's what we specialize in, and then we have the right people to actually fulfill and have a 10 out of 10 experience on the back end. Income producing activities. This is this is game changer. When you understand that there are activities out there that produce revenue and that produce income, it's a game changer, because really what you can do is you can simply focus on the income producing activities. If my pipeline's ever dry, whether it be with Apex or with roofing, I'm selling a bunch and it's just like, man, I just sold my entire pipeline. I always make the joke that every single July and August, I felt like I was gonna lose my job with Apex, because we had MDM right before that and I sold almost my entire pipeline every single year. So I would get to July and August, and me and some other sales reps, we would always be like students in the group chats, hey, sell some shit, argue, like, I mean, completely understandable. And it's just like, man, we have no pipelines. Like, we may lose our jobs every single July and August. So what we would do is we would go back to the basics. We would focus on the income producing activities. With Apex, I was hopping on social media and start connecting with people. We have Sales Talk with Sales Pro, so we're connecting in there. We're in the CRM, reaching out to people that have shown interest before to us. So those are the income producing activities. With roofing, it's a couple different things. For me, I'm still in the field. I'm still doing sales, so it's door knocking, but then it's also hiring and training and recruiting, spending time with my guys, spending time with my leaders. Because at the end of the day, you're never gonna grow a business that's truly, I mean, there's different levels to it. You can get to 5 million just simply doing sales with a couple guys. If you want to get to 10, I want to get to 20, 30, $50 million eventually. I can't do that myself. I just don't have the lever. But what I can do is I can build up other leaders, and my leaders can go out there and have an impact on sales reps as well. So those are different income producing activities. It changes depending on your position. Sales has different income producing activities versus being an actual leader or a business owner. So that's been pretty cool learning the last couple 6 months. Dream 25, has everybody, raise your hand if you have not seen Dream 25 in Build Your Machine. Chris Robinette, he's been with us for like 8 years. He's never seen Build Your Machine. I 100% believe that. What? It's a game changer, man. This number one income producing activity, I would have to say, my number one income producing activity is a Dream 25. How that relates to Apex was, it was sales. I was looking at, hey, I want these people. Honestly, a lot of you guys that I sold into Apex were on my Dream 25. 100%. You guys were on my Dream 25, and I was like, man, I really want to get Faye into Apex. We had a call 6 months ago, and she told me she's going through some stuff, but I'm going to get her into Apex eventually. We're touching base. We're touching base. She's in Apex now. Apex, it was sales. I was putting people that I want to sell into Apex. Now with Lone Star, it's more recruiting. It's more, hey, these are some top sales reps at other companies that I just know are not treating them right, and they are on a terrible split plan. They're not growing, they're not learning. These are people that I want to get over to my company. So I'm going to be touching base with them, building relationships with them, sending value, giving them my juiciest stuff. Hey, have you ever thought about doing this at the door? Hey, here's a pitch that I've been doing that's really working. Hey, here's how I talk to these people and I run up these sales. They're like, dude, that's good stuff. Like, why are you giving me this stuff? Like, I'm your competition. It's like, you're not my competition, bro. You're gonna work with us one day. It's just whenever the time's right. So Dream 25, it relates to both sales, but then also recruiting as well. Sales culture, everything is sales focused. This is something that I absolutely loved about Apex. Is like I said, Apex isn't personal development, it's a sales organization. We just happen to specialize in personal development and business growth. So sales culture, when I say that, we have Danny and Monaco in here, y'all are operations, but at the end of the day, I always felt like Stuman had a special place in his heart for sales. It was like we had our separate group chats. It was like I felt like we were going to war day in and day out. Anytime a client, it was never a client. Clients never complained. It was always the people that were like taking stuff and they never bought anything. If they went to Stuman and they're like, hey, get your sales rep in order, you know, he's out of line or something like that. It was so awesome because it was never, Zach, what did you do? It was always, hey, what's going on with this? Basically, so that he could reply back. He had my back. It was so cool just understanding that, like, I'm going to war every single day, and this dude has my back no matter what. So I'd send some screenshots. I'd be like, hey, sometimes I didn't even say nothing. I just sent screenshots. He would text back, hey, fuck you, you know, get out of here or something like that. And it was just awesome, man. It was sales culture. Like, at the end of the day, if you don't have sales, you don't have a business. So having that sales culture first is so crucial. My first 60 days, so sales makes the money. My first 60 days after going full time with Lone Star was fully focused on sales. It was almost like a spiritual journey. I was just like, man, back's against the wall. I got to make this happen. Like the last couple of years, I've been doing it on the side, but like now it's time to do it. And by focusing on that, by making my income producing activity, I spent days in the time in the field every single day. My first 60 days, we signed $400,000. I did, not my team, just me personally. So it was awesome, man. It was almost like a spiritual journey. Sales solves a lot of issues when you're small. This is actually from another Apex member. His name's Kurt Linnington. Runs a small business, does a little bit north of $130, $150 million in roofing company in DFW, but they're a national company too. He said this one time, and I was like, man, that's right. Sales solves a lot of issues when you're small. A lot of people think you have issues in your business. That's why you're not scaling. Once again, there's that buzzword, scaling, scaling, scaling. It's not really too many issues. It's just not the right issues that we're focused on. It's really just a sales issue, and I would say up until about $10 million. Maybe up until $5 million, it's at least in like roofing. Obviously, that's different for real estate and stuff like that. But it's really just a sales issue. So if we focus on sales, sales makes some money. There's a reason this is my number one lesson, is because that's like over the last 5 years, it's like, dude, if I can focus on one thing, you figure out sales, you figure out marketing, you can figure out the fulfillment on the back end. So sales makes the money, leadership amplifies it. You combine sales and leadership and you have an unfathomable income potential. I truly believe this, because sales, if we know that sales is a great income ceiling, you can make great money in sales. If you can learn how to duplicate yourself and lead other sales reps and get them to a point where you're getting an override off of them, but you're actually providing value to these people, your income potential is unfathomable. So this is literally what the top Apex members do. I pay attention. That's what I do. I observe more so than anything. This is literally what the top Apex members do. Kurt Linnington, Neil Kaiser, Keith Pike, Ibrahim Hussein, Brandon Brittingham, Todd Price. They build sales organizations that are oriented around leadership. That's what they do. Kurt's not knocking on doors selling roofs anymore. He builds leaders. Actually now it's kind of like a couple leaders removed. So he builds leaders. They're not even knocking doors. They build leaders, and then they're leading a team that's knocking doors. It's like multiple layers removed, but every single layer that you remove, you're watering down your message. You're watering down the leadership. Because if you're leading somebody, if Stuman's leading me, I can never be Stuman. I can never be what Stuman is. But if he's a great enough leader, then he's going to pour into me. Now I can pour into other leaders, and if I'm good enough leader, then those leaders are going to be able to lead other people. So that's the skill set, is leadership. We don't have to reinvent the wheel. We are taking from the top real estate leaders and top roofing leaders, and the results have been incredible. So there's a reason I said these names up there in Apex, is those are literally the people that we're taking notes from. There's a book out there, Steal Like an Artist. You don't have to you don't have to reinvent the wheel. You don't have to come up with all this original stuff. I would forget that it's mine. You don't have to come up with the original stuff. You just, man, steal like an artist. Take from what Kurt's doing. Take from what Kaiser's doing. Take from what Keith Pike, the #1 RE/MAX broker in the country, is doing. Take from these people from different industries, because if all I put up there was just roofing professionals, I would never be as great as those people. But if I take from roofing, and if I take from real estate, and if I'm learning from John Cheplack on recruiting, and I'm learning from all these different people, the idea is eventually you can be bigger than all of them. That's really what it is. So the law of the lid. Has anybody read the book 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership by John Maxwell? Show of hands. 1, 2. Handful. Beautiful book. I absolutely love that book. So I think it's chapter 1. Haven't read that book in a while, but they say law of the lid. So for those of you that aren't familiar, it says your effectiveness will always be hindered by your leadership abilities. You can be an outstanding sales rep, but sales reps have a glass ceiling. You know, people think, oh, income potential is non-existent. You can go to whatever. Yeah, okay, you know, but eventually you're going to get to a point, you're going to notice that 90% of top sales producers are going to cap out at a certain level. But if you add leadership to that, perfect example is Kurt, Kaiser, all these different people up there, you add leadership to that, now it amplifies your income potential so much more. So what it talks about is it talks about McDonald's. The founder of McDonald's, he was really good at making burgers, and he was really good at having a business, one storefront. And he could never start opening other businesses because he lacked leadership skills. So whenever he started, actually he didn't start, he never learned. He actually, I'm sure he did good whenever he sold McDonald's, but actually I think it was 2 brothers that ended up coming, is that right? 2 brothers came in, took over McDonald's, started franchising it, because they have the leadership abilities. They didn't have to just teach somebody how to flip burgers and, you know, put mayonnaise on it and da-da-da-da. They had to teach people higher level skills, how to manage people, how to run an actual operation. And because they were able to do that, McDonald's is in, I think, damn near every single country, I think, except for like 2. I think 2 countries don't allow McDonald's to be in it or something like that. I could be wrong on that. But law of the lid, always focusing on leadership. So rule number 1, sales makes money. Rule number 2, leadership amplifies it. Next up, find a blue ocean. Find where you have a competitive advantage. This is key. Insurance sales. Guys, to be honest, if I had to sell insurance, I don't think I would be anything. I mean, I'm insurance sales rep. Probably, I mean, they're probably pretty lazy, I would guess. You know, just sitting, drinking coffee. That's how I imagine like insurance sales reps. So you know, I'm sure I'd be top 10%, top 5%. I don't think I would be doing anything extraordinary if I had to sell insurance. But you let me be an insurance broker, where instead of me saying, "Hey, Freddie, can I quote your insurance? It's going to be $100 more and you're going to have 10% less coverage because I'm captive. I have to sell Allstate. Can I have your business?" Freddie's going to be like, "Dude, I love you, but I'm not paying $100 more for 10% less coverage." But if I'm an insurance broker and I have an irresistible offer and I'm like, "Hey, Freddie, I'm an insurance broker. I promise I will beat your price and increase your coverage. It's going to be $50 less and you're going to get 10% more coverage. Can I get your business?" He's like, "Yes, let me send you to all my friends too." It's an irresistible offer because I had a competitive advantage by being an insurance broker. Whenever I was with Apex, I feel like I truly had a competitive advantage, and I had to find it. It's not always clear. So whenever I was in the mud, getting out the mud, and trying to become the top sales producer, I was competing against, a lot of you guys know, the other sales rep. And it was so awesome. My competitive advantage was I was a 21-year-old just into a relationship, not married, no kids, nothing like that. And the other sales rep wasn't. So whenever Stuman's like, "Hey, we're going to be on a private jet every single week for the next 6 months, you in?" He's like, "Man, I got to talk to the wife. You know, I'm not able to do this. You know, I got kids and stuff like that." He came to me, "Hey, Zach, you want it? Fuck yeah, let's go." And I tracked those sales literally from every single trip we did. I averaged, I think it was like $83,000 every single trip that we went on. Because we would go to other masterminds, $100 million mastermind, Avengers. He would go speak at different events, and these people, dude, they had money. And Stuman would get up on stage, crush it. These people would be around Stuman asking him questions, stuff like that. He's like, "Hey, I would love to have you in Apex, talk to Zach." All I needed was just a little, "Hey, I have some interest in this." And then I'll be like, "Hey, you know, what made you decide to reach out?" All that sort of stuff. Run catch on them. I would close sales. That was my competitive advantage. There was other things too, you know, different ways I could approach sales, referrals, stuff like that. You have to play into your competitive advantage. Stack the odds in your favor as much as you can. Don't play a game that you don't have a differential advantage in. What do I mean by that? When you go to the casino, you're at the roulette table. The casino has a 1% advantage on roulette because they have those two little green dots. So it's not just 50-50, it's not red or black. They got those green dots, that's 1%. 1% doesn't sound like much, but whenever you're at a casino, someone's doing $100 billion worth of gambling, that's $1 billion that casino just made. That's all they have to do, is they just have to play the long game because they have a differential advantage. So find your advantage. Is being young an advantage, do you guys think? A lot of people say that. A lot of people say that because they're like, "Man, I would love to be young. You know, man, I would love to have energy being young." But you'd be amazed how many people are like, "Oh, he can't do that because he's young." I will say this, there's just as many, if not more, people that are like, "Man, that's actually very impressive that he's doing that so young." So it goes both ways. I think it's a full advantage because really what we've done over at Lone Star is we've created a young hustler culture. A lot of roofing companies, Kurt Lennington, Neil Kaiser, I can't compete against those dudes. They 20 years, 30 years in the game, leadership capabilities out here. Like I'm just getting into this game. But what I can do is I can attract young hustlers and I can find my differential advantage and I can play to that. So find the blue ocean, find where you have a competitive advantage. Very much like Stuman did for me, our reps are buying real estate. We pay their LLCs, 1099. They're set up as S corps. They pay themselves salaries, teaching them tax codes. They work out. They go to church. I mean, we're pouring into that young hustler culture. That's our differential advantage. Everything falls to your systems. So this was very important in sales, but I'm realizing that it's so much more important in business ownership. There's so much, and you guys get it, you guys are business owners. There's so much more that goes into just like when you were just a sales, like whenever you guys were just agents versus when you guys are business owners, so much more stuff when you're a business owner. You don't realize how much time you have in sales, but it's so important to actually fall back on your systems and have systems like fail proofs so that you are constantly growing and constantly reaching that next level. So I always say back to the basics. Figure out what the basics are. You don't have to have all these different shiny objects. If you just simply focus on what the basics are, there's a saying out there that says a man needs to be told what to do once and reminded often. I actually think I got this from Pastor Keith at Elevate Life. He says that, right? I think it was Garrett Unkelbach, actually. A man needs to be told what to do once and reminded often. You don't need to always add stuff. Dial in on what moves the needle and do it over and over and over again. That's where people get bored. That's where people, leave companies because they're like, hey, we're learning the same stuff over and over again. Yes, but does it get results? Does it move the needle? If time isn't allocated for the most income producing activities, it will be filled with BS. So making sure that our calendars, this is something I learned from Stuman, is have a calendar and put stuff in on your calendar. When are you going to be knocking doors? When are you going to be prospecting? When are you going to be spending time with these specific leaders within your organization? If you don't have a calendar and you don't have a system to fall back on, time's always going to get filled with BS. So what are your standards? What are your systems? What does your calendar look like? John Cheplack says, show me your calendar and I'll show you your results. He teaches the top real estate agents in the entire country, and people come to him like, hey, how is Keith Pike the #1 RE/MAX broker? How is Ibrahim Hussein crushing it at EXP? How are these people doing it? He's like, show me your calendar. What time do you wake up? What are you doing in that time? How many people are you talking to? How many phone calls? How many recruiting calls? He says recruiting is the #1 best income producing activity that you can do, hands down. Habits, and what do you stand for? At the end of the day, people can say, I want to scale, I want to grow, I want to do all this stuff, but do their habits align with that? So everything falls to your systems. Basically, long story short, you are what you do. And I know that's like mind-blowing to some people, but a lot of people just kind of float through life. Outwitting the Devil, that book by Napoleon Hill, they say people just float through life. They don't think about stuff. They're not clarity. If you have clarity, you increase your opportunity of accomplishing that goal 1,000-fold. Culture. So Mark, this is what I want you to pay attention to, is the 5x5. So what do you stand for? Write it on a piece of paper. What do you stand for? So the 5x5 topics, this is a tactical piece that I took from, I forget who I took from. I think it was an Apex member, Jeff Smith. He says, write down 5 topics and write down 5 subtopics on those topics. And that's going to be your content creation. So whenever I'm sitting there, Stuman was always, hey, make a Facebook post every single day. And that's so tough in the beginning. It's like, I don't know what I'm going to talk about. Maybe I just talk about like what I ate or something like that. Like you have no idea what you're going to talk about. Towards the end, you're like, dude, I know what I'm going to talk about. Boom, boom, boom. Create 5 different topics and then create 5 subtopics underneath one of those. So one, for Mark, he's in real estate. He's looking to find other investors that have money that are looking for an incredible investment opportunity. So what are they interested in seeing on social media? Probably investments. So let's talk about ROIs. Let's talk about cap rates. Let's talk about different struggles in real estate. Let's talk about tax benefits. Then, so that's going to be one topic. And then let's go to the next topic. Maybe it's different markets in real estate. Maybe you're talking about, I don't know, man. But come up with 5 topics and 5 subtopics. Recurring trainings. So this is another thing. You don't have to get up and on your Monday morning meetings teach something new every single week. It should be the same stuff. Your sales reps and your employees should be like, dude, I'm tired of fucking hearing this from this dude. But you should be training on the stuff that actually gets results. It's back to the basics. Life is easier when you're doing life with people that align with you. So by having a culture, yesterday I was talking to somebody and he's like, man, he's telling me about one of his reps and he's like, man, this dude's like a solid guy. Like I have some people in my company that I probably want to invite over for dinner with my family or stuff like that. I'm sure you do too. And I was like, man, I really don't. I mean, I break bread with all my people. Like I genuinely, every single one of them, I love doing life with. And I don't say business, I say life, because whenever you're doing business with people, you're truly doing life with these people. There was 3 people that we had to, we were about to let them go. They ended up quitting, which, I mean, we were grateful for. It's because they weren't aligning with us. But when I say they're not aligning with us, we just came up with our core values. And I know Stuman's always preaching core values, core values, core values. Last couple of years, we didn't have core values. It was kind of like, man, I mean, we want you to do the right thing, but I mean, that's not one of our core values. You know, we want you to go above and beyond, but that's not one of our core values. So we were just feeling so much friction with these guys. It's like they have so much potential, but like, why are they not reaching it? And come to find out, it's because we didn't have core values lined up, and we didn't have something to grade them against and say, hey, you're not cutting it on this core value, this core value, this core value. It's probably not going to work. So we came up with RAISE. You guys probably noticed that it's very similar to RISE. Basically, we took RISE and we were like, hey, we really like these, but let's also touch on this. Let's touch on this too. So RAISE, what our core values are, is R stands for results. Inputs over outputs is the principle behind that. If you're going to get results, we have to be focused on the inputs because you're going to get outputs if you're focused on the inputs. Plus, we're a sales organization, so we want our people thinking, I just got to focus on knocking doors, knocking doors, knocking doors. you're going to get roofs whenever you knock on doors. A is accountability. Continuous improvement is the principle behind that. So if we're keep holding you accountable, you have to constantly be getting better with us. That was another thing that, so not only were they not focused on the inputs, they weren't knocking doors. So I thought I had to start micromanaging them. I hate micromanaging. I hate talking to people about, hey, what are you doing? What are you spending your time on? Stuff like that. But we would be in a team meeting and I'd be like, hey, what are you guys seeing up there? What are you guys struggling? Like, you're $1 million producer potential and you're at 371 over the last 12 months, not even this year, over the last 12 months. Like, what are you seeing? Oh man, just bullshit. Okay, so let's implement some KPIs. Let's see how many doors you're knocking, and then you'll actually have some information to feed back to me. Come to find out, he didn't like that. He's like, man, it used to be relational, now it's transactional. I was like, it's only transactional because I have to make sure that you aren't failing and not reaching your potential because of me. I have to make sure that everything rises and falls on leadership. So he wasn't putting in the inputs, accountability. He wasn't continuously improving. It was the same numbers over and over again. Integrity, we do the right thing. Self-explanatory. I think they did good on that. Service, we go above and beyond. They weren't going above and beyond. And then E is excellence, building financial freedom. So that's something that we're really big on too. We don't want our people to make a ton of money in roofing and just spend it on BS. We really want them to be building financial freedom for their families. Hire and fire off of that. So like I said, we were just about to fire them. They ended up leaving. Our team's on fire because they know everyone is bought in. Ever since those guys left the group chat, it's only been a week. Yeah, we got a storm, but our team's been on fire. Before we had, 24 people in our group chat, and you would just see a handful of people, interacting. Mostly because the bulk of them, those three guys would read it and not react, so other people want it. Now that they're gone, first person that sees it likes it. Second person likes it. It's on fire, and the guys are dialed in because they feel like they're truly a team. Nick Saban says you got to get rid of your B players because A players don't want to be around B players. That's true. That's true. Nick Saban said his spring practice was literally just to figure out who's going to be on the bus and who's not going to be on the bus. It's so crucial. If you want to do anything and great, you have to have the right people on the bus. And then lastly, don't get caught up in the flash dancers. Once again, these are my top lessons that I've learned over the last 5 years with Apex. I think this is extremely important to have up there because I've seen so many people fake it till they make it. Arguably, they don't even make it, so they're just faking it. They're just fake people. They're talking big numbers. Come to find out, their numbers are actually just like potential sales or something like that. Oh, we're going to be a 8-figure company, and it's contingencies. Like, just run your own race. Don't get caught up. So many people, 90%, I would say probably 90% of people inflate their numbers somehow. Probably about 40% of them are just straight bullshitters. So run your own race. Most of the cats aren't doing what they say they are. Keeping up with the Joneses. What happens is people start boosting their numbers, then other people feel like they got to boost their numbers, and now you're literally just playing a fake game. Don't even play that game. It's not even a game worth playing. Do simple things over and over, consistently and with discipline. Stack the extra cash and invest it smartly. I don't even think smartly is the right word. So it's very, very smart of me to say smartly, but so many people, they have the shiny object syndrome. Hey, this is going to give you, Jake Frugier, this is going to give you great results and stuff like that. Dude, just be smart with it. Invest it with some Mark Ruiz or Brandon Brittingham or something like that. Like be smart with that money, or just buy your own properties, buy your own stocks, something that you can actually control. Make millions to get the fuck out the way. One of the dudes that I love following, he's just on Instagram. He's a young kid, crushes it, has like a $50 million real estate portfolio. His big thing is like what he stands on is like all he eats is steak and fruit. All he does is Airbnbs. So he buys real estate, just cash flows a shit ton on Airbnb. He travels and he just says, dude, I just want to make millions to get the fuck out the way. That's what I want to do, Come up with your freedom number. So a freedom number, basically that's a number that if you reach this number in net worth, your net worth should be working for you. There should be a calculatable ROI on your net worth. So if it's $1 million net worth and you're getting 5% on your net worth, that's $50,000 coming in every single year. So what is that net worth number needed in order to hit a passive income number from your investments that's actually going to allow you to be free? What is free? Your passive income pays for all your liabilities, basically. That's all I got for you guys. Q&A. I know Q&As are usually like crickets, but I hope you guys got some questions for me. This is, man, it's really been an awesome journey, and it's really cool being able to speak and just kind of be like a last hurrah. So Yeah, got any questions? Yes, sir.
Yeah, so, all right. Kudos. By the way, Zach, I'm so proud.
He said kudos. Thank you. Thank you.
I'm honored to know you, and, you know, my son and you are about the same age, and I told him some of the stuff you were doing when you were doing. He's like, Dad, are you serious? I was like, yeah, dude. He's fucking banging it out. He's like, that's crazy. But that also inspired him. Like, he's like, I'm gonna set my life up the same way. And I was telling him, I was like, yeah, Zach got Airbnbs. He's got some problems. He's like, what? I was like, yeah. So I tell him when I talk to him, I was like, hey man, like, oh, he's working with his brothers in the company, the roofing company, and they built it up. And he's like, Dad, that's amazing. I was like, you can do it too. He's like, really? I was like, yeah. I was like, you can do it. So being the example, congratulations. That's like, you've done a great job.
Thank you.
What I want to know is, what was the hardest shit you had to fucking do the last 6 months? Like, really, truly, the hardest shit that maybe you were like, I got to think on this one. And what did you do?
Probably the start of it. Probably making the decision that that I was going to go full time. Shit, I was in Amy's office and we were having a heart to heart, and it's just like
crying.
I wasn't crying. Chill out. But no, I mean it was.
You quiet, Mr. Truman.
It was. I'm not the type. You know, you see all these people that hop from one thing to another. I'm not the type. Like I just like I'm a very simple man and I like doing what I do. So it was a really big decision to go all in. Yeah, it was the start, man. Once you made that start, you know, lo and behold, it wasn't that bad. You know, I go out and we're crushing numbers and the team, and it's like it's cool, like feeling like I'm hitting new milestones and that like I'm not living the same life over and over again, but like you're supposed to grow through life. You're supposed to go through tough stuff. You're supposed to go through obstacles. So literally just like the first 6 months or the first decision was hands down, bro, hardest decision.
Yeah, it's nerve-wracking too when you've worked with people for a long time and there's a sense of loyalty and obligation.
For sure.
You know, and you never know how people are going to react, right?
For sure.
So, but kudos to you, man.
I appreciate it.
Big balls!
Ryan was like, hell yeah, let him go out in earnest stripes. I'm like, but no.
Yeah.
My son.
That's good.
Yeah. Couldn't be more grateful for how it happened. But
How's your real estate portfolio looking?
it's kind of on pause. Everything's going good. Haven't added any more properties. I think I bought some in January, but ever since I went full time, I'm co-owner in the roofing company, so I'm having to. Basically Brett's funded everything up until this point, so all my money's going into the business now. I mean, business is profitable. It's not like we're losing money, but he's just like, hey, let me put my portion into the bank account and take the rest out. Let you put your portion in. So I'm gearing up for that. Just had to pay taxes and stuff like that. So real estate, I'm not really accumulating right now. But also I just kind of want to see how things pan out. I think supply and demand is, I don't know. I'm new to this stuff. I mean, we just seen, you know, the graphs go up and to the right for the longest time. It's just, you know, everything goes up. So I just want to see, you know, if it doesn't. I mean, I'm good. You know, I have 16 properties. So it's like, I think I'll get that equity and everything's good. But let me build some more equity in those. Let me increase cash flows as rents keep going up. And then maybe one day we'll get to Josh's 2,500 properties. Maybe one day.
I got a question.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm kind of stuck with my business. I don't know how to get past this point. I do a lot of local networking. I'm with 3 chambers, so I'm in the community a lot, volunteering and being a part of that, and that's helped. But I don't know how to get past this point where I'm at.
So what do you want?
I want to have a team and a crew where I can do the networking because I enjoy the socializing and all that, and being the face of the company, and I want crews to go out and help me do the work.
So what would you say is like your biggest obstacle, your biggest struggle in that right now?
Me.
No, but like let's elaborate on that. Like
I don't have enough work to.
enough work. Usually, so let's go back to slide number 1. Sales makes the money. There's a reason that's number 1. So let's focus on junk removal still?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you have any people in your industry that are doing the numbers that you would like to do?
I do. The one thing I don't like about what they do is they do a lot of videos, and then they do videos where they're literally flashing cash, and I just think it's so disrespectful. Oh, I just made $1,000 on this junk removal job, you know.
Are they selling the junk removal course, or are they getting customers by doing that?
I don't know if they're getting customers by doing that. I know they're getting people on their YouTube, you know, to subscribe. I don't know, you know, they got like 11,000 subscribers. I don't know what that's doing for them. I just know as a customer, I wouldn't like seeing that. That would piss me off.
For sure. Is the goal to be a YouTube junk removal influencer, or is it to actually have a successful junk removal business? So do you have actual people in your industry that have a successful junk removal business that you can model, you can steal like an artist and be like, hey, this is how they're doing it?
I'm sure if I looked hard enough, I could find some.
So let's start there. Let's figure it out, because another thing, this next page, find your blue ocean. Is junk removal a blue ocean? If you're dead set on junk removal, like, hey, I want to do junk removal, then figure out what that number is and what are the steps in order to get there. I do think, going back to this one, sales makes the money, that's a huge focus. You know, if you can simply focus on getting the customers, finding some people to pay $15 an hour to remove some junk and stuff like that, not going to be too hard, really. Some posts on Facebook Marketplace, stuff like that. So if you can focus on getting the customers, I don't know the industry, but if I was in the industry, I'd be researching it all the time. Who are the recurring people that need junk removal? Maybe it's not just going after the hoarders, because that's probably a hard sell. Going to a hoarder, they're like, no, I like my stuff. You know, I like having rats in my house and stuff like that. Like, I don't know. But who are the real estate agents that, you know, do fix and flips and stuff like that, and they need junk removal, they need trailers out front, they need all that sort of stuff. Who are those people? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Who are the recurring? So I would get obsessive. You really have to get obsessive in order to accomplish anything great. I would get obsessive on how to generate leads and close sales. And then the next thing is find your competitive advantage. Find who the players are and how you can become better than them. Ibrahim, he's on one of these right here. Ibrahim Hussein, I was speaking with him one time in Cabo, actually, and he went from being an agent in 2016 to, I don't even know his numbers, but he's like one of the top EXP teams in Canada. And I was like, you had to sum it down. Obviously, you've done a lot of great things, but if you had to sum it down to one thing, what's led to that? You know, going from an agent in 2016, I think he started a team in 2018, and then we were in Cabo. He was crushing it in 2021, 2022. And he's like, I looked at the top people and I looked at what they're doing wrong. Because if I can look at, yes, keep in mind what they're doing right, but what are they doing wrong? I'm going to fast track their success, because they still have these weights holding them down. So if I can look at what they're doing wrong, I can pass them. So get that clarity. Figure out what that number is, that freedom number. How big does your company need to be, revenue-wise, profit-wise, in order to have that team? And then who are those recurring customers?
I would add on to that. I would agree that getting with realtors and builders, you know, the people that would actually need you would be huge. One thing I would say is to not get distracted maybe by what other people are doing to maybe get their branding out there, but doesn't necessarily draw in leads. So like in the real estate world, I had an example where one of my good friends started using a different brokerage because they had a flashy cool TikTok video about their listing, and that the whole point of that video, it doesn't bring any buyers to their property. It gets people saying, oh, look how they promote that listing, I want them to list my place. So like a lot of people think, oh, that's going to bring a buyer, like that flashy TikTok video. It doesn't. It gets them more listings. So like when I help them understand that, where I don't invest $1,000 into a cute TikTok video, I invest $1,000 a month in promoting a property on land.com, which is actually going to bring me a buyer. And just understanding, like, is this cool video that they're making, or YouTube or whatever, is that actually going to bring me clients, or is it just going to be a distraction where I'm just trying to, it might build brand presence, which is great, but if it brings you 0 clients, it might not be worth your time. Like, focus that money on actually getting leads. Not, obviously there's going to be a time to build your brand and build your marketing just to get your name out there, but if it doesn't bring you any clients, the flashy YouTube video, like, it might not be worth your time.
Right. Okay. Thank you.
That's an input too.
Okay.
One of my clients, I think the Chamber of Commerce is very underutilized. So I had one of my clients start joining the Chamber of Commerce, and she built a lot of different connections. And she has since like 3 months ago, and started working with her, brought on multiple clients just from like referral business and getting to know people. So if you kind of go in with that like mentality that I'm literally here just to serve people, how can I help you, how can you help me, and just become a familiar face to kind of build out the know, like, and trust factor, you will be somebody that people think of when they're like, man, I got all this shit in my house, or man, I got all this shit in my business or my yard, and they'll be like, you know, I know this girl, right? Her name's Michelle, blah, 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 this is her contact info.
We're in
Because if you
305
start doing,
Yeah.
right, and they're free.
Yeah.
Right? All it takes is, like some places, it's one of the ways I grew my solar business back in 2020, where I was going to the Chamber of Commerce, making relationships with different people, and then I would send them businesses, right? Like I met realtors, and I met people that got solar that wanted to sell their house. So then you just create this like relationship with different entrepreneurs, and it's free. All it takes is, like, it was weekly when I was doing it, right? So all it takes is you just becoming that familiar face, and then week after week you build like a trust factor, and then you send them a referral, and then they send you a referral. And it's just a free way to just get out there and generate business and become a familiar face and become an expert in your industry.
Thank you.
Anybody else got any questions?
Divorce moving
No
parties.
questions.
Yeah.
Ready to get rid of his shit? Did he move out? Pick it up. All jumped
Yeah.
up.
I saw somebody post something about that, and then they're like, now the husband wants to sue him because the wife got rid of all his stuff, and I'm like, well, shit, no, I don't know about that.
Should've taken his shit.
To that point though, that's a really great, like, thing to consider too, like Ryan, when he was, a loan officer, he had relationships with realtors, like, hey, like, they had to make sure he went to all those events, so maybe, like, I'll never forget, the best thing I ever put together with clients with, it would be a free with TripAdvisor, was our guy who owns a jewelry company and an attorney, and I was like, hey, how about you have, put your ring down for a down payment for your divorce type of thing, business, and they were in as and it crushed it. I mean, so just aligning yourself with a different industry that may be a little bit something you don't necessarily think of off the top of your head, really think about it, like align yourself with another business and have a referral relationship, and I think that would really
Okay. Thank you.
Loan officers too, because they always know who's getting divorced,
Yeah.
and it's usually the ladies will be like, hey, I need to see how much I'm approved for.
Yeah.
So, but I don't want anybody to know yet.
Okay.
I help a lot of
I might
secrets.
try and do something with that divorce
No,
part.
it's like, you get a plan for doing your shit out.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's time
Thank
to start
you.
over, you're gonna need new furniture, but.
Thank you.
What's the biggest disagreement you've had with your brother so far?
I know we had some. Let me think on that. To be honest, it's really cool because I'm a shithead to my brothers. I'm second child, like middle child syndrome for sure. I just be picking on them. I annoy them. Plus, I'm the smallest one too. They always joke with me that I'm not 6 foot, so I pretty much always annoy them anyways. But it's never. We don't really like the business. Doesn't really add too much stress on that. There's been some things that. One thing, Brett was like, "Hey, let's recruit this guy," and I was like, "Nah, man, that the business owner, really respect, have a ton of love for him. We're not gonna poach any guys from that company." And he's like, "But nah, dude, but that's kind of far away or something like that." And I was like, "Nah, I mean, those are the two lines." So we have 2 companies in DFW that we just simply won't poach from. So.
Tell me this, Zach, I got a few questions for you, like, I was just starting to think about all this stuff, like, what's the median age of a guy that's working in your company, right?
Median probably 28, because we got a couple 30, 40s, and then majority of them probably about between 24, 28, yeah. And then my little brothers.
Okay, that's good. So next question is gonna be, because I hear this with a lot of people, it's like, man, I can't find any good people. I need somebody in their 20s, I need somebody that's, motivated and driven, right? How would you say, like, how's the best way that you found those people?
For sure. So I'm gonna flip it on whoever says that, and I always hear that, like, oh, I need sales reps. Actually, one of the dudes that just left our company was like, hey, if I'm gonna go start my own, because if I had Andrew, who's our top sales producer, if I had him and he sells 2 million, dude, I'm fucking good. And I'm laughing in my head because I'm like, dude, over the last 12 months, you've sold 371,000. How are you gonna lead a $2 million producer? So flip it back on them, like, who do you need to become in order to attract those people and actually be able to lead them? Because 2 things. One, B players, A players, they're gonna figure out if you're a B player. If you're spending time with them, and if you're texting them early in the morning, they're not up yet. If they're not going to the gym, if they're not selling or producing, you don't see them up on, like, if you can't lead people, then you can't lead people. And people figure that stuff out. So 1, focus on who you are, because you're going to attract those people. And then 2, all of our stuff has been organic. It's been social media. It's been using Build Your Machine, us posting the stuff. Brett just got a Lamborghini, so that's helped too. So I mean, it's getting attention, but there's two things that you can do. Attention can just be flash, and it cannot add to anything. Or if you actually have something to back it up with, then your people are going to come and they're not going to leave you too. So it's kind of been both, focusing on, hey, let's make sure our product is so good. This is what Andy Frisella says. Our product is so good that it just sells itself. But then also, if you can couple that with getting some attention and actually using social media in a correct way that attracts people to you, that's what ours been. Dream 25, social media, Build Your Machine. It's a blueprint. I mean, that's what we do. Well, also we back it up because there's another guy in DFW that we know that is always posting this stuff, but I mean, there's nothing behind it to support it. Does that make sense? So you're selling dog shit. You get the dog shit. It may look good from far, but if you get up close, you're gonna smell it. You're gone. So yeah, you like that? Maybe it's gold. Yeah, gold plated dog shit still smells like shit. Lamborghini dog shit still smells like shit.
What are the top three best things that have happened to you since you made your transition out?
Allie answered the first one.
Was that for me?
This last month we just recruited 4 guys from other companies, and not like hard. We never hard sell it. It's kind of just like they know we're there and they come over. But all of them have experience that should add $4 million in revenue. They're all $1 million potential producers. So that's been an awesome one. And then that's another one. What do you think? Yeah. What else? We've almost doubled every single year since 2021. So 2021, when I was like, hey, I want to grow this thing. 2022, we doubled what we did in 2021 when I came on full time. Not full time, whenever I started part time. 2023, we doubled again. 2024, we doubled again. So 2024, we did about 6 million. And this year, I don't think we'll double, but we're really pushing for that $10 million number. So it's revenue growth has been phenomenal too. And I don't feel like it's like a lot of people are like they're you know how you're driving and you're stuck in the wrong gear and it's just like revs, your RPMs are just 100 or 6,000. I don't feel like we're at 6,000. I feel like we're just kind of coasting. I feel like we're about to shift and we'll be good. So we're adding leadership. We have things in place. So it's not just like we're not going to cap out here like a lot of people do. We're just going to keep building leaders because that's very important and keep adding sales reps. So. And we have an office. That was pretty cool too. Yeah, so we're based out of Northlake, over by Texas Motor Speedway. Not too far from there, so.
That's awesome.
Yes, sir.
That's awesome. Congratulations, Zach.
I appreciate it, brother. I really do. I'm trying my best. I feel like I'm just getting started, man. That's why I said is this is just entrepreneurship through my eyes. I never claimed to know everything. Quite the opposite. I feel like I'm a baby. I'm just getting started, but forever grateful for Apex and the impacts it's had on me over the last 5 years, and it continues to have on me. So wouldn't be here without it. So, yes, sir.
I wanted to kind of add to what Amy was saying or what y'all were discussing earlier. You know, when you approach Ryan, let him know that hey, you know, you're gonna make a move.
Mm-hmm.
You know, as a business owner, you know, we all want the best employees that we can get. You know, it's awesome. It's badass. You know, when you have key people, you have great people, great players in your organization, and it sucks. You know, it's kind of a double or triple edged sword. You know, it's tough in one sense of the word to lose somebody that's good or substantial. You know, somebody that's that's vital to your organization, or you feel that they're vital. But you know, the flip, and this is all my opinion, but on the flip side of the coin, you know, on multiple levels, probably, you know, as a business owner or whoever's managing, you know, that person, you know, whoever you're reporting to, and whoever's responsible for you, you know, you gotta pat yourself on the back for the fact that, you know, not only obviously your skills and your abilities is what drives you to do what you do how you do it, but if you're not working under good leadership, you're not gonna perform to your potential.
For sure.
So the fact that you were performing to your potential, and you do perform to your potential, even after you made a split, you know, you got to give yourself a pat on the back for the fact that you developed someone into that person that was able to, you know, leave the nest, so to speak. You know, it sucks to lose good
Shit, I
people,
just
but
brought him cookies for his birthday, cupcakes, and gave him hugs.
Yeah, for
That's
sure.
all right.
well, you did all you could, so tried your best.
Yeah, no, you're right. Yeah, more than a pat on the back, man. I have so
Y'all
much
will experience
gratitude.
it too. You know, y'all will
For sure.
experience it as you grow your business. You'll have, you know, I hope you don't, but then again, I hope you do experience it, because if you groom up people to be good enough to where and that's like that's kind of an unspoken anticipation that a lot of business owners, you know, probably should have in the back of their mind. Is
For sure.
that I want to have the best fucking people I can have, but I also have to bear in mind that if they get good enough and they have the ability and the willingness to want to make a move or do something bigger for themselves, they may move on at some point.
For sure.
You got to be okay with that. But that's, you know, it's a lot of credit to y'all and a lot of credit to you for, you know, for your abilities, you know, for y'all's ability to train up, you know, good people and retain them for the time you can. And, you know, credit to you.
5 years, bro.
For your ability.
Like I said, man, more than a pat on the back, I wouldn't be here without the Stuman family. My family wouldn't be where they're at without the Stuman family. You can see a direct correlation to the impact Apex and Stumans and everything had on me, which led to my brother and my dad and my family and our employees. So, dude, I can't even put it into words. Truly grateful. So, I appreciate you guys.